Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, mother. With Nery Saenz. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal!
Steph, anie Meyer-Senior.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! And Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hey everybody, welcome to the What's Up Bro Yeah, shred that guitar. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. My name's Mike Mercadal. With me as always is
Nery Saenz.
He's that guy. Once again, thank you to Dave Chappelle for coming in and doing that little sting live. He comes in every episode. I feel like we should acknowledge it. Thank you so much to Dave Chappelle. Welcome to the show. All the stuff up top. You're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us at WUBroPod on all social media platforms to be notified when we go live. If you're listening to this in the future, when we're not live, you can be notified when we are live, so you can come and join us in the comments and tell us all your opinions about the stuff that we talk about. Nery, does that sound good to you?
It does. What sounds even better is if we let them know that they could go on and review us and give us a 5-star rating.
5-star rating. That does feel like a old school thing at this point, because the audio podcast feed does get the most listeners default, just because it's been around the longest. But I really,
But also people like just being like people
Yeah.
listen to podcasts in different situations. Like if I used to, when I was at home more before I was traveling so much, I would listen to my podcast exclusively only when I drove, like when I was driving.
yeah.
And
That's
you're
a
not
thing I
watching
disco-
video podcasts when you're driving, and right? You shouldn't be. Please don't.
Some people are. Yeah, I mean, like some people
Please
are, and
don't.
it is not a good idea.
That is
No,
not no.
I will say that I enjoy. That's something I forgot. Driving, it demands your attention, demands your time visually, but you can listen to whatever you want. I'd forgotten because like in New York, I wasn't driving, so I didn't have that built-in moment, time to chill. To I don't even know how you would describe it, because you're not chilling, you're not relaxed. You still have to be doing something.
But you're
you
on
can have-
autopilot. You're like on
Yeah,
autopilot.
kinda.
You're just. You ever do that when you drive home and you're like, how did I
You
get
wake
like,
up, yeah. You like
and
wake.
you're
You're like,
what
"Ah."
route did I just take? What, like, you just got home and you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're just on
Or you-
autopilot. There's been so many. There's been a couple times where I was driving to drop off my daughter at daycare, and my son is like, "How about me?" And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta drop you off too. Okay, it's a different school. Never mind." Like I'm so
You're on autopilot. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, yeah,
We're
man.
on.
But I'm
Yeah, we're
saying,
on
like, that's what I'm looking at our reviews. I'm looking at our reviews on Apple Podcasts, because that's where the majority of it. And I'm just like, man, we haven't had a review like in 2 years. It's been like 2 years since somebody reviewed us, which is
I think
weird because in those 2 years, you got married,
that's right.
and
That's
not
right.
even your wife has reviewed us. Like, she's like, I live with this guy. Fuck this guy. I don't want to.
Yeah.
This shit.
I mean, look, Chiquita was a regular viewer when we were recording, and then now she's like, what's the phrase that they use now? She locked me down. She
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
She's like, I don't have to do any of that shit anymore.
Yeah, I don't have to do that shit anymore.
I don't have to do that. But no, the reviews. Hey, look, I will say this, on any platform we are on, we will enjoy a nice review. If you can get us on Yelp, we'll take a good Yelp review. If you can,
Oh my God,
if you
Yelp
take
could
us
make or
on-
break people.
Yeah, Google. Are you following? I don't know if you. Again, we have very different algorithms on TikTok. There is a food reviewer, Keith Lee. Do you know who Keith Lee is?
No clue.
No clue.
No
Okay,
clue.
Keith Lee. He's this dude, black guy. He's like a martial arts guy that found fame on TikTok reviewing local and underserved restaurants that were struggling, and then he would give them like an honest review. That became his thing, and he's got millions and millions of followers, to the point where they have a thing that they call the Keith Lee effect, that that if he says it's good, the next day that place is sold out. There's lines around the corner. It's happened time and time again. And the
I've
dude
seen
went-
videos. I don't know if it's of him, but I've seen videos where, what's the word I'm looking for? The content
the edited-
creators,
yeah.
the influencers. I've seen videos of influencers affecting local business and restaurants. There was like a donut shop. There was like an ice cream shop where
Yeah.
like they took a picture. The girl took a picture, and she was like, this great ice cream, and this guy's like, he's just like, you can see the owner had nothing to do because there was no customers.
Yes.
And yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
That's his thing. And then so this is what he's known for, right? And throughout the US, he's gone to like different cities, and basically, like, since he does it anonymously, he'll send like someone in his family to go get the food, or he'll order it, like in a way that they don't know it's him. Because if influencers, it's like the anti-influencer. You know how like when they go into a place and they're like, "What do you give me if I properly influence your place?"
Oh yeah. I've had
He
that.
does the-
I've had that. Where I'm like, hey man,
Really?
you want to do a collaboration? And they're like, I charge $2,000, and I'm like, good luck with that.
Good luck
would
with
go-
your collaboration.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, so he does the opposite of that. So he does it anonymously so that his reviews are like, or so that at least that's the implication, right? He's gone to he went to Atlanta and like just kind of talked about how shitty some of the places there treat, where the service was terrible. That place has since closed down. like because it's like he's just giving his opinion, but there's a lot of power there, dude. The guy went to England, he went to London, and he starts eating like all of the British foods, and then just seeing like the response to people watching him eat. They call it there's like he's over there eating brickle brackle and fizzy wickets or whatever. Like they're just like all of these like mushy peas and all this stuff, and they're watching him eat all this stuff. Like, because he's an American content creator, it all comes over here, and then it's like, is this jellied eels, spotted dick, like all of these things, these British foods, and the English people are crashing out so hard. They're like, "What do you mean he doesn't like fizzy packets or whatever?" Like the that was too close to an inappropriate word, and I regret putting those syllables together. But he's like, "Oh, the fizzy wickets." It's like, "Oh, you don't like brickle brackle?" And like they're losing their minds. And it
how do you not like this deep oil, deep fish thing? Like, ugh, they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah. It's what, you don't like potatoes and bread with beans and tuna? That's a real thing that they served this man.
So, in my time, just to add on to the story, in my time in Ireland, we were walking around, and there was like a tour bus at some point. There was like a tour. There's some guy giving a tour, and they're like, "Oh, this is like a famous restaurant or whatever." And then somebody in the group had asked like, "Oh, what's the local cuisine like? And then the tour guide paused, right? And he was like super Irish, and he was like, well, Ireland, we're not really known for our cuisine, but we do have great bars. We do have great, we do have, like, it was just like we have a lot of places to drink beer. Like, we're not really, you don't come here for cuisine, for a special like food. Like, it's not good."
What's the signature Irish dish? Beer.
Potato.
What's the signature
potato.
Irish dish? Guinness. It's just Guinness.
Potato and Guinness.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I was just reminding. So if Keith Lee could come and review our podcast, that would be great. It would be so good. We encourage any influencer to generously donate their $2,000 fee to review us. Like, come on.
I'm telling you, man. It was. Here's the thing. I don't hate the hustle. Like, I don't. I remember.
You don't, yeah.
This was like a year and a half ago. I was trying to get some collaboration, some local. In Miami, I was doing a local show in Miami, my CD recording, and I was trying to get like, hey, maybe we could do, and I was trying to get like a food thing, right? Like one of those foodie people, and I was like, hey, so maybe you go review the food at the Improv, and then you review the food at the Improv, and then you could do it with me. We have a bite of something, and then I could talk about my show, and then we like collab that way. That was my idea.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect.
And
synergy.
He was like, oh, I charge. You could email my management. Yeah, and then he's like, you could charge my thing, but for a thing like that, it's anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. And I was like, oh no, this is
Miami.
And I think, and I don't know if it's like, I don't know if people hear the Improv and they think, oh, this is a company. It's like, no, this isn't with the Improv. I'm just trying to find a way in to shoehorn me, because you're a food blogger. So I'm just trying to find a way. Like, this is like so this hasn't to do with the Improv. This is just to do with promoting my comedy show. But you're a food blogger, and again, I didn't hate the hustle. Like, hey man, I just can't afford that. Congratulations that you're able to charge that. I think that's great. Like, I don't knock anybody's price. I can't afford that. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If I was just
okay. So if is this in Miami? Like, I understand there's influencers everywhere, but I feel like the vibe of Miami now is like everything is Like, I just saw somebody post a video.
That's about everywhere. That's LA is the same thing. New York is all about talking in the streets, like man in the street. Like, everything is like, that's all influencer shit.
I don't remember it that aggressively, but then again, I left like two
and you lived in Brooklyn.
I lived in Queens.
You lived in Queens. Sorry, you lived in Queens. So that's not the city.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I get it. To be fair, even in LA, like, I don't hang out in the places where influencers would hang. And also, because when we went to Italy, we tried to do all like we relied on some influencers to recommend places. Every influencer recommended place was just like terrible tourist trap, tons of people. Like it was like too,
Yeah.
it was too much. It was like not the real recommendations you want. So we've kind of like, we have an aversion to that now. Like if I see somebody, here's the top 5 places to go in LA, I'm like, so I do not want to go there. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to like restaurants. Anyway, whatever. The point being is give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and or any other podcast or media
Or
platform.
StreamYard. What was the other one? What's the other one?
Stitcher. We're on what Google, YouTube.
No, it was the one with the green thing that everybody does. I just don't
Spotify.
do it. Spotify. I just don't do. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't have Spotify.
I literally only use Spotify to listen to my
Joe Rogan. You're a Joe Rogan head.
the
Big Joe
podcast with the
Rogan guy.
movies, the Cinephobe. It's the only time I listen. Is
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But they're
so
on
much
other.
so.
I use.
So much so because they have every episode that Cinephobe posts, they have a poll, and the poll is phobe or file. Like file is you like it, phobe is not is that you don't like the movie, and so like and they want to attract as many listens. So when you listen to them, even when I first started listening to them on YouTube, they would always promote to Spotify. So then I went to go to Spotify, and then at the end of the year, you know how Spotify gave you like, oh, your top
The
5,
recap,
whatever.
yeah.
It never gave me a recap because I only listened to Cinephobe on Spotify. So it didn't even give me a top 5 because they were like, no, you have to listen to at least 5 things
We do
to get a top 5.
You have to listen to at least some other things. I'll say this: my recap. This is how you know you have tinnitus. I have that ringing in my ears, and I need to sleep with white noise. My number 1 most listened to song on Apple Music last year was "Thunderstorm 60 Minutes Loop." It was like,
Nice.
the hot hits from the sounds of the rainforest. That was like my most listened to song.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Injured, baby. This is a nerve damage. It's not even about old. I've had it forever. It's just gotten worse.
How'd you injure it?
Well, when I was a kid, my brother stuck a piece of potato in my ear and it ruptured my eardrum.
Jesus.
That's how
Jesus.
it started. And then since then, metal, rock concerts, loud as hell, loud music, scuba diving did not help. The fire academy, I remember he getting damaged in the fire academy, and just inherent loud, like just not taking care of your hearing is number 1.
It's like the worst possible thing ever. It's like, oh my God. It's like, oh, I had this traumatic thing happen to me as a child. What am I going to do the rest of my life? Should I take care of it and baby it? No. Let's do every possible thing to make it worse. You knew loud music was going to fuck up your ear. You knew.
Well, so there's a different. So the thing is that it affects 1 in 4 people. I've done all the research. The truth of it is that some people will get it and some people don't. It's a nerve thing, just like some people get like nerve pain and with
Sure.
like when I hurt my back, that was definitely me not taking care of myself. When I herniated disc in my back, the nerve stuff I feel is not the average what normal people feel, because normal people feel pain. I felt a more numbness and tingling. So people were like it's like everybody's a unique little snowflake when it comes to their nervous system, and my ears decided that it's time to start going for the rest of my life. So although there is a treatment that involves me vibrating my tongue and bones in my jaw. Or they you like bite down on something and put some headphones on and it just like vibrates your skull. And I'm like, man, I'd love to try that. They're like, it's $850 for the device. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Is there a way to try it without buying it? Like, is there a way to see if it works? Because what if you buy it and it doesn't work for you?
It most certainly will not work. Like, that's the thing. It does not, nothing is proven to work. So it's all just like treatment. So it's supposed to like soften it a little bit. But if it's only softening it because my skull is vibrating, and then, like maybe it'll, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, man, if they promised me that it would stop, and they had proof that like, hey, we can get it to stop immediately and the noise would stop. But you have to, I don't know, like there's not a lot that they couldn't tell me to do that I wouldn't do to get it to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what the line would be, but it would be like, I'd entertain the thoughts, how bad would it have to be? I don't know. Murder? Sure.
This is a question I heard on a podcast. Is there an amount of money to stop talking to all your friends?
Interesting. You give me $5 right now, this conversation's over.
You Venmo me $5 right now.
Venmo me $5. Podcast over. I don't know. That's a good question.
Here's where they brought up very good questions and very good points. Couple things. One is, would I be able to explain to my friends why I stopped talking to them, or do I have to ghost them?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is there like a farewell? Is there like, hey, this is going to be the last time because I've decided to take, $3 million and I'm out, And then here's the other kicker. Is it all forms of communication? I'm assuming so. I say all forms of communication because the question
you'd
is
have to
talking.
disappear. You'd have to disappear.
No more, whatever. And then the other thing is, does that stop you from making future friends? Or is it just the friends you have right now?
Oh.
And the worst one, and I know I'm going to get crap for it, maybe not from you, but from the audience. Does that include your wife? Would you count your wife as a friend?
Oh. Interesting. I would like to say,
would you count your wife as a friend?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yes. We have to say that. We're married.
Yeah. And she's in the room. She can hear me. She can't hear you though, so she doesn't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, she didn't hear the question, but she just heard. She just heard you say yes, of course.
She's in.
Ask your wife. This is a good because I asked my wife yesterday. I was
Chiquita.
listening to it. Wait.
Banana.
Ask her. This is the question that I asked my wife. I said, "Who's your best friend?" I asked my wife that because I didn't want to set it up. I didn't want to be like, "Am I your friend?" So I said, "Who's your best friend?" And I just wanted to hear if she listed me as one of her friends. Because I didn't want to put the pressure on her. Like, am I a friend? Do you consider me a friend?
Oh, interesting. Because, but coming from me, it might influence the answer just against the.
We'll just be like, hey, who's your best friend? Like, we're talking about friends. Who's your best friend?
We're talking, Chiquita. We're talking about best friends. Who's your best friend? She doesn't want to say. She doesn't want to get in trouble with others. Do you think your friends watch my podcast? They do not. They're clearly
tell
not
her
watching.
Top five.
Okay, can you rank? Not rank, but just give me 5
in no order.
In no particular order. Do you who's who are they? All of the names she listed, she had 5 chances. Not one of them was me.
Not one of them.
But it's true. It's coming from us. Oh, yeah. She listed. There's a lot of people that she did not list. That could have been.
Yeah, but none of them are her husband.
None of them are her husband. Yeah, you heard it here first. You know how. Now we know. Know.
I asked my wife yesterday. I don't know. She goes, my default answer was so and so, but they moved away a few years ago. So she goes, but we have been talking more often in the last 6 months. And she's like, oh, I don't know. And then this is her response, the way she said it, right? She goes, I don't know. I guess I would have to say you. Like, that's how she said it.
I guess.
And I feel like that's worse than what your wife did. I feel like not being named is better than like, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to say you. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
She just didn't. I get because the thing is that who's your best friend implies that it's not. It's that. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's so funny. I guess you is very.
Hey,
funny.
Here's the thing, man. Go ask Chris Kwan, who's your best friend. I bet you he'll say you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. That's
if you ask your best friend who's your best friend, they should be able to say you. At least mention you in the top 5, right? Because I get it.
At least like put me on a mountain. Put me on my mountain.
Yeah, like hey man, I'm like, look, I have the franchise. There's a group of us. There's a big group of us. We're like a group of like 8, 9 guys that were really close and really tight. So if I ask any one of them, I'm okay with them not saying me first, but I would expect to be in the top 5. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? I would expect. I would be like, I would hope at least. But yeah. So, would you be able to? So, is there a price? Is there a different price to stop talking to all your friends? What would that price be? And then, is there a different price to stop talking to your wife? Because if your wife is included in your friends,
yeah,
obviously that price goes up higher, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, if the amount of money paid has to include my wife, that's more than if it were to include just people that don't live in my house. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's
Right.
that's a big deal. Like, does it include your kids too? You know what I mean? Do
Right.
you
Well,
consider
no,
your
I don't
kids
like
friends?
those. I don't like those people at all.
Yeah.
But so that's
Yeah,
fine.
no.
They're not friends. Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's. I'll pay you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can
How
tell,
much?
yeah.
How much of a percentage do I have to pay? No.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it difficult. Like that's like I think the hardest part for me is once you get like who's included and who's not included. The hardest part for me is would I have to ghost them? Would it be like
Yeah.
just
Without
would it just be
explanation.
like,
Ghost.
hey, no explanation, change your number, boom, boom. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still a price. That there is a I'm not saying there's not a price for that. There I would do. Like if you give
Yes.
me $2 million, maybe $2 million, I'm gone, dude. If I could take my wife and
Interesting.
kids with me, $2 million, I'm gone. Like you would never, Mike would never hear about me. Stephanie would be
Yeah.
like, "What happened in Nery?" That would be you guys would see me because I would still do comedy, but it would be like
Nothing would change except we would be essentially like on a different plane of existence than you. You do not interact with us in any way.
correct. And they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Wow, Nery's on Netflix. How did you get the money for that?" Because I had
God.
to.
Yeah.
I got $2 million.
It's like, and then when people come ask me, what happened to Nery? Why is he not talking? Like, what's going on with Nery? It's like, I don't know, man. He just stopped
Dude,
talking
he
to me
blew
one
up
day.
the moment he got famous. He just left us behind. He just forgot all
Motherfucker
his
big
friends.
timed us all. What a dick.
Dick.
Yeah, I don't know what again, it's hard. Look, I will say this. It's hard for me to answer that question because I have already left my home multiple times. Right? Like I've
Yeah.
left my foundations, like all of my friends in New York, they're still my friends, but they're just not as close as they were. You know, my best with Chris, you know, like not
Is he still number one?
He's still number one. Yeah, he's still number one.
Now, do you say that because it's a default, or do you say that like is there still like a constant? You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah,
wife was saying, my wife was saying her default was so and so, but since they moved away years ago, it's been like it's harder to keep that friendship going, right? Like I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying. And then she, she was like, well, but we have been talking a lot more in the last 6 months. And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like that was her thing. She was being honest. She was not like trying to be funny. She was just like, so friendship is one of those things where if you don't nurture it, is it still a thing? Like I am completely okay with. I was having this conversation with my wife. I'm really bad at phone calls. Like I'm not a phone call person with anybody except my wife. That's how I know she's my friend because I'm not a phone call person. Even with my family, I should be a better son. My parents are getting older. I should be a better son and talk to them and just call them more often. I'm just not a phone person. I'm just not like talking on the phone type of deal. And whoever it is, let's mention anybody, like, and no matter how good of a friend you are, like it's happened with you and me before where we go months without talking. And it's not that we're mad at each other. It's not that we're not friends anymore. And then we have one conversation that lasts 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
And we're totally fine.
Here, this is why. Oh, come on.
We know how to be friends.
Yeah.
We know how to be friends.
I missed the men part. It's almost like a cliche thing at this point where there's no added like pretense or whatever. Like the Key and Peele sketch of the two guys texting and the misinterpreting the messages that we have done. And then at a certain point, then it's like, oh yeah, no, whatever. That it gets resolved. It gets put away. You know, it doesn't get like held on to in some way. And it is true that at a certain point, they're like, even if I don't talk to you every day, the foundation of the friendship is there in a way that isn't superfluous. It isn't superficial. Like there's a foundational kind of like I have had to cut out few people in my life because of politics, that I considered friends because I wouldn't have been friends with them in the first place. You know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Where they're inherently decent enough people where like I know that I can trust their judgment on just the way they kind of behave. And if someone's a shitty person, I would not have the foundational friendship that I would to be able to hit him up 3 months later and talk for 2 hours. Sure. You know, that wouldn't happen because of that sort of thing. So it's inherently, Yeah, there's some maintenance that needs to be done, but that maintenance can be rekindled the second you have a genuine conversation.
Sure. My Watkins, my favorite one. Watkins had a great tweet where he put in quotes. He said, "You're willing to lose friends over? Are you willing to lose friends over politics?" And he says, "Bro, I lose friends. I lose friends that like their own post." And I'm like, that is so fucking good.
That
That is
is,
so. It's
that's the kind of the kind of person you are.
that's yeah. I don't like my own shit. I don't like my own post. By the way,
I don't.
I found a loophole because I have two different profiles. Because for the listeners who don't know, a few years ago, my Instagram was shut down. Instagram shut down my Instagram account.
Yes, yeah.
And they
It was
did not
very
give me a
traumatic
reason.
for you.
It was a big deal, and they didn't give me a reason. I was able to get it back up, but in the meantime, I had to create a backup profile. I had to I thought I was gonna have to start from new. I'm like, okay, here we go, and I started a new, and then I got my original back. So now I have two profiles. One of them is literally in the description says, "This is my backup in case my original gets fucking torn down and taken down again." So I often will I will often tag myself as a collaborator, tag both accounts as a collaborator, again, just for the fear of like the post being taken down,
Losing,
like
yeah,
one
yeah,
account
yeah.
being taken down. So from my main account, I would like my backup post. So it's for example, whatever.
I guess you just lost Watkins as a friend. You
I
traitor.
know,
You just.
but that's not really the same account though. I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't know. You is this? I'm trying to just ham-fisted segue. Did you turn heel by liking
Yeah.
your own posts?
That was a big deal. That was for those of you who don't know, he's ham fisting so John Cena. I know, Mike. You haven't watched wrestling.
I don't watch
in a while.
wrestling anymore. So here's the thing. Here's what I know about John Cena. He loves doing Make-A-Wish, and he is he's a good comedic actor.
Literally, the person that has fulfilled the most Make-A-Wish in the history of Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
John Stewart joked that people were getting cancer just to meet John Cena.
Sure.
Like that's how much he did.
There was a kid, a kid with Down syndrome that he was huge super fan of John Cena in the Ukraine, fled Ukraine when Russia invaded, and they convinced him, hey, we're gonna go meet John Cena. We're gonna go meet John Cena. Lie, just a straight up lie. And then John Cena's like, oh no, I'll go over there. What? Some kid? He's like Superman, literally at the peak when he's up on Earth, like above Earth, listening, and he can hear everyone. And he's in orbit above the Earth, listening. And then he's like, "What did some kid say? He was being lied to? I can't. Nope. That will not stand." And he goes flying down to Ukraine. Shows up and like greets the kid.
So yeah, I'm completely like, so I stopped watching wrestling a few years ago when The Rock was out of it for a long time, and then I was like, whatever. And then my kid started trying to get into it, so I started trying to get my kid into it. So for the last couple of years, I've been in and out, popping in and out. But then last year, The Rock came back. We talked about this when The Rock came back last year. I told you
the final boss or whatever.
This is the final boss. This is the best character The Rock has ever played. He's played multiple characters, versions of The Rock, and the final boss is the fucking best one. It's so good. It's so phenomenally good. And he came back and he was like, hey man, so he told Cody Rhodes, which is the current champion, he's like, I want that title. Actually, what his phrase is I want your soul. And I'm like, holy shit, man, it's so good. And so he's like, you can't have it. So Cody Rhodes will say, like, you can't have it, meaning that he won't even give him a shot at the title. He's not giving The Rock the shot at the title. So John Cena comes in, and everybody goes, John Cena has been in wrestling for 20 years, 21 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
I know it's at least 20. I think it might be 21.
Yeah.
He's been in wrestling. Has always, and when I say always, I don't mean like for 6 months he has always played the baby face. He's always played the good guy.
The face. Yeah.
So much so for the last 20 years.
I did see that John Cena he's not been portrayed as a heel since around 2004. So he's like in 20 years he's always been the good guy. That's what you're saying. Yeah, he's the straight up good guy, and that's how I know him. I don't know him
and
for
for years how people, because people take the wrestling thing very seriously, they try, even fans of it who acknowledge, who know that it's scripted, they try to predict where the script is going to go ahead of time. So they'll be like, oh, well, The Rock beat him at WrestleMania, so now this is the perfect time for him to turn heel, and he's never done it ever. This was like, that's like 2014, like he's never done it. And so every time the fans of wrestling think that, oh, this is going to be the time that he turns heel, he's never done it. So this time John Cena comes into the ring, and he's like fighting everybody off or whatever. The Rock is in the ring with him, and he goes and hugs Cody Rhodes, and then the face change because The Rock gives him the slit the throat, the fingers across the throat.
Drax, fingers across the throat means death.
Means death. Yeah. So fingers across the throat. And
can we watch it? I'll put it muted. Can I put it muted?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it. I'm fighting these fucking copyright infringements, man. I'm fighting them off. So you go ahead and put it with sound. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Because this is him, Cody Rhodes. He hugs Cody Rhodes for the audio listener, and then look at his face. Also, that's his chin. Come on, Rock. You gotta do better than that.
I think that was his throat.
This is jaw.
No, he came in at the end at the jaw, but he started with the throat and then came upwards.
So he's the final boss. He's the bad guy, and he is now wearing his bell bottoms, and now he is basically telling John Cena to be
finger
evil,
through the throat,
to finger through the throat, and boy, they're really milking it.
But they have to, so he gets a watch that he gets a watch that he was gifted. He was gifted the watch. Cody Rhodes was gifted the watch, and he gets the watch, and now he's basically using it as brass knuckles, where he's just
right.
I mean, look, man. People talk crap about The Rock's acting or whatever. This is phenomenal acting by The Rock. This was live. There's no retakes. This is live where The Rock is just giving this. I get it. Like, it's so good.
Well, the whole so now I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what are the stakes here. Like, what's at stake?
WrestleMania
in terms of
title.
A title. The title is at stake. This is Cody Rhodes finally won.
John Cena has already announced that this is his last year in wrestling. He's already announced his retirement, and he's already announced that WrestleMania will be his last event. So what he's gonna do in that event is now he wants to go for the title.
Got it. So now he wants to. So here's the thing. Now my conspiracy theory brain, as a non-wrestling watcher, like, okay, so clearly this is how much money you think he got just to go turn heel. How much money you got to be like this? I don't know
if it's a pay bump for this particular thing. I think it's like a plan. What I suspect is like it's like a plan. Like, hey man, if I want to do this, if you do this, this would, your popularity is going to go. And it did. He broke the fucking internet. People who are not into wrestling found out about this. This happened on Saturday, and this was this whole dramatic thing. And I think it's more of I don't think it's a pay. I don't think it's like he's getting more money for this particular thing. I think it's like this is going to drive up your sales in merch and blah blah blah. So now he's going to have he has to have a whole new line of merch, because his line of merch right now is like respect, honor, whatever.
That's so I looked up. So here's the thing: as somebody who is genuinely out of the loop when it comes to wrestling,
I'm in the fringes. I'm barely in the loop. I'm in the loop when The Rock is involved.
I literally went to Reddit. There's a whole subreddit called Out of the Loop, and people post stuff about it. And there was a Out of the Loop on John Cena, and I guess so they're trying to of course lead up to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year, and also they were saying that every time that people wanted him to turn heel, that it was always like the people think, that he didn't do it because his merch was selling fine. His character was fine. No one was bored with his character, and they judged that by merch sales. So I imagine that they wanted give a couple different things to give a new option for merch, a new option for. Oh, I think something's going on with Facebook.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
Please check Facebook to ensure the stream looks okay. Let's see, what is it? It might be Facebook. Oh no, it ended. We lost it. Okay, never mind. So if you're watching this on YouTube and Twitch, you can still be live, but I guess Facebook
Can we reconnect it? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Edit. Save here. I don't think it reconnects. I think we would have to end the stream and start over, which I don't know.
No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. We could pull it from YouTube or something else if you need.
We did lose some viewers. They were on Facebook.
Yeah. There was a couple people. Now they're on YouTube now. But we appreciate you following us. You know, sticking with us. Look, I'm not as Meta can do whatever they want. Oh, I lost Nery too.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
You're here. Okay. Anyway, so the whole point being is that being like, there's so much going on with like wrestling has become something that used to be a thing in my life that is now like, it's hard to explain that. It's like, oh, that's still a thing, huh? You know, like I've moved past it. So whenever it pops up, I'm always like, it can't possibly be as popular as when I was watching it, and it's still fucking huge. You know what I mean? It's like
it's way bigger.
It's so huge.
Way bigger. It's way
so
bigger.
big. And of course, because I'm not involved in it, I'm like, how could anyone be? Well, I mean, I watched it at its peak, and that's the shit that I suffer from. For like a lot of people do that occasionally when it's like about, oh yeah, The Simpsons were only good between here and here, and it's like, meanwhile, they're still running and they still get great ratings, and it's still people are still watching The Simpsons. I don't know who, but apparently people are. So when it comes to wrestling, it's kind of like the same thing.
That's the way I feel about NCIS. I'm like, who the fuck is watching NCIS? But apparently people watch NCIS.
Yeah, man, these shows run forever. People are not only that, like, who's watching the 3 FBI spin-offs? You know, like people are watching them. And they're making money, I guess. It's kind of crazy when you think about like and then so when it comes to like wrestling, it's also so crazy to me because it is like reality show it's like a different type of reality TV. When you know how scripted real reality TV show or reality TV is, you know how scripted wrestling is. It's so much harder than reality TV because it's like live, you know, like, and there's no, you know, like fucking Owen Wilson died. Not Owen Hart died in like in the middle of a show, and they kept going. Like that's how crazy that show is. The concept of wrestling as a whole, you know, they're doing it live. They're doing these stunts. They're doing all this stuff, and people are dying. Mom Koji, thank you for commenting. Yeah, very scripted. It is very scripted. It's so put together. Can you not hear me, Nery?
Yeah, I lost it for a second. I realized that this whole time I've been recording right before you and I were on StreamYard for like half an hour before we pressed record. Yeah. And right before that I got up and everything fell. My whole setup fell, and I realized that my microphone had disconnected, and I was using the iPhone. I was using the phone's microphone.
It does sound better now, but I'll be honest with you, that iPhone microphone was not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was so
weird
because I could still hear you. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. So I had to disconnect and connect again.
So long story short, this is all, you know, Cena turning heel is like a big deal. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, what happened on The Simpsons? You know, like what's a thing that's used to be popular, but even though it's like the most giant thing on earth, I'm just out of touch.
What was very scripted, by the way, that's where I lost the
the reality. It's like the combination. It's like reality TV, but with stunts. Because it's not even like
absolutely, yeah.
It's like reality TV stunt show, and it sounds like I would love it, right? Like because I know it's fake. The reality TV that like Montoya por favor that presents things as like real, but it's not.
Yeah, like the Oval Office visit.
Yeah, like that. Like it's all
scripted. It's all scripted. It's all like
it's like a prank show. It's like you got punked. It's like, yeah, we know you're gonna do the thing anyway. Like everybody fucking gets it. Everybody knows what's about to happen. You want okay. This feels.
I don't want to talk about that. I
don't want to talk about that, but this feels connected to another thing that I did want to talk about because hey, look, we have to talk about the Oscars. Happened. Pop culture, the cultural world. The Oscars did happen. Did you watch the Oscars?
I watched every minute of the Oscars up until the second to last award because Hulu cut off. I don't know if you heard that story.
What happened? What happened with Hulu and the Oscars?
So the Oscars are supposed to go for 3 hours, and then maybe 3.5 hours when it goes long. Hulu said we're gonna give it like 3 hours and 40 minutes or 50 minutes. Like it's gonna be like a certain amount of time that you can watch it on Hulu live. I'm on a ship. I'm on a cruise ship. I'm performing on a cruise ship, so I'm watching on Hulu live, and I'm watching every minute of it. I watched every minute from the beginning, and I was maybe like 5 minutes behind, 10 minutes behind, right? But I caught up because of the commercials. I caught up. I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm watching this guy give his speech, Adrian Brody give his speech, and then it cuts off, and then I realized, oh shit, like I don't. There's no like way to get it back. I immediately started refreshing and Googling, and I was like, oh, and I know immediately what happened because I'm a football fan. So this happens on football sometimes when you're watching on a streaming service. And football only has a certain amount of time. They only have licensing for a certain amount of time that they could play a game. And if the game goes longer because it's a live event, then you're fucked.
Funny.
So I knew this. I knew this the moment it happened. I was like, ah, fuck. Hulu ran out of time, or the Oscars ran over time.
Like the tape ended. Like they're trying to record the tape.
And I missed the last 16 minutes of Adrian Brody's acceptance speech, and I missed Jesus Christ. What an awful acceptance speech. What an awful acceptance speech. It's like the fucking worst, dude.
I did not watch the Oscars. I was just kind of checking. My wife and I, we were watching Wicked. We finally watched it. I was not tuned into it because we kind of don't watch live TV anymore. Like we'll catch up on things afterwards.
I don't really watch live TV except for sporting events, and then this time the Oscars. I was like, oh, I'm watching the Oscars is on.
When everything went down, I didn't even know about it until the next day because I wasn't actively watching it. All I know is there was Conan said that it was halftime at the show, that it's the time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile. Yep. I know that Amelia Perez won for a best song, which everyone was like,
best song and best supporting actress.
Yes, for Zoe Saldana,
Zoe Saldana.
I cannot possibly imagine. I mean, we can go through it, but all I know is that, and then Adrian Brody gave a speech that kind of was in support of Harvey Weinstein or something like that, or Harvey Weinstein's girlfriend, or some ex of Harvey Weinstein is his girlfriend now, or something like that. And he was like, she did, like, basically talking some shit during his speech about that.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And it was like 7 minutes long. It was such a bad, it's literally the world's longest. He cut the music off. Stop playing the music. I'll wrap it up. And then he continued for another 2 minutes and 40 seconds after he did that.
Jesus.
It was fucking brutal. Like the fact that he's in a movie called The Brutalist, this was it felt like that. I was like, oh, you're the fucking worst. And then because of that, I missed the best picture winner. Because of his long ass speech, if his speech would have gone the allotted amount of time, I would have gotten to see the fucking best picture win. So that's the only one that I missed was the best picture.
So you missed best picture, which we all know went to
Anora.
Anora, we all know. So my wife watched it.
I was so happy for that guy. The
guy that won,
because Anora. The director of Anora is also the writer of Anora, which is also the editor of Anora, which is also the fucking. So this guy
made it.
Was fucking dude. He won four. Dude, he won best editor, best writer for original screenplay, best director, and best fucking picture. Look, this guy. I mean, there's nobody that's had an Oscar night like this. Nobody in the history of Oscars.
Did you watch Anora?
No, but here's the funny thing is, I was dying to watch Anora. I just couldn't get a chance to. I just did. It was one of those things where when I saw the trailer months ago, before it was ever nominated. I sent it to my wife. I'm like, this shit looks great.
Yeah.
I'm like, this looks great. It looks like a really good movie. I sent it to a couple of film buff friends of mine. I'm like, yo, this looks really good. This was months ago, before Oscar season, before the awards season. I'm like, this trailer looks great. And then I didn't get to see it because I just didn't have a chance to see it, and I bought it now. I've since purchased it because it became available on iTunes immediately, so I purchased it. but I'm dying to watch this movie, and I'm so happy that it went to an independent movie. I'm so happy that it didn't go to an Oscar bait movie. I'm sorry. Look, we talked about this in the top 10 movies of the year. Where like I didn't watch The Brutalist because I don't want to watch Adrian Brody in 3.5 hours of Oscar bait. This is like it's like a sad post-Holocaust survivor. Like this is just everything that everybody pictures as an Oscar movie. Like when you're making the movie, you make it with like hey, this is gonna be Oscar worthy, right? Like this is like it hits all the dots all the I's, crosses all the T's. So like, oh, this is what Oscar likes. The Oscars like this kind of movie.
Now,
and
I'll say this: I don't know if you know, but I didn't watch a lot of movies last year. And
you should mention it, man.
I didn't. I don't want to admit publicly, but I didn't watch as many movies as I would have liked. And of the movies I did watch, a lot of them are on this list, but they're not like I don't like. I'm sure A Complete Unknown is good. I'm not going to go to the movies to watch A Complete Unknown.
I refuse to watch that movie.
I'm not going to. Yeah, I know you do.
I refuse
but
to
even
watch that
even
movie.
The Brutalist. You want to know the movie I regret not seeing in theaters? Wicked. I regret not seeing Wicked because that's a.
I saw Wicked in theaters, man.
Yeah, I regret
really
not seeing The Substance in theater. The Substance was
Nah,
also
I'm all right with that.
super impressive.
I'm
that was
all right.
gross. Did you finish
I
it?
don't want to. Nope.
Did you finish?
Nope.
Whoa, come on.
Nope. I just couldn't. I couldn't, dude. That's the part of horror that I don't like.
The
Like,
body
that's
horror.
I'm just like bleh, nope. And here's the thing: I was with it when I thought it was just a regular. I don't want to say regular. When I thought it was just like what's the movie that we all liked with
Heretic.
Heretic. I thought it was like a Heretic type of movie where it was like thriller, creepy-ish, but not like. When it got into the body gore, I'm like, oh, this is tough to watch. I saw 2 transformations. I saw skin peeling and blah blah blah, and I was like, I don't. This is tough. I can't get through this, man.
It gets so much worse.
Yes, I only know that because of the clips that it got nominated for best special effects, and so when it showed, no, it did not win. And so when it showed clips of it, I was like, oh, thank God it did not get to that far. At that part, it gets so much. I cannot. I just couldn't. I can't.
Yolanda Momkoji says Flow, which was won for best animated feature film.
For best animated
not seen.
So another movie that here's like where I'm taking my pride in. Again, my brother's an animator. Months ago, I sent him the trailer for Flow. I'm like, yo, this shit looks amazing. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Blah. And we made jokes about, man, fuck cats. I'm like, yeah, but there's also a dog in there. So we'd like make jokes or whatever. But it looked beautiful. Like the trailer looked stunningly beautiful. Like, holy crap, this is you could tell just like the robot, the movie, the animated movie with the robots. Yeah. What's it? What'd you say?
The Wild Robot.
Wild Robot. Yeah, I think you said the Iron Robot. I'm like, that's not a thing.
No.
The Wild Robot. Just from the trailer of these movies, you can tell this is this is not your typical like this. There's like an art to it. There's like very and so I just didn't get a chance to see it because I don't have time. I'm like they're so rare that I'm in a place that has a movie theater, so I just don't have the time. But I'm excited. Flow, good for Flow. Third year in a row that Disney Pixar does not win Academy Award, by the way.
Yeah. That's probably relevant to the fact that they're not really doing. Inside Out 2 was a sequel, like it's they're not doing as much creative stuff, and I think so. Like when I go to the movies to see, it's hard because since it costs so much money now to go to a movie, parking, driving, the time, the buying the ticket, the if you want to, all of that stuff. At a certain point, I want it to be worth my while. I'm not gonna watch Conclave in the theaters. I'm not going to watch
which is a shame
because I'm sure it would have been a great theatrical experience. It's just that I can't bring myself to spend all that money to go to or even be motivated to do that because we're also accustomed. They heavily invested in streaming, kind of shooting themselves in the foot because now everything's available in your house, and now they're trying to do like look at what happened during the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight with Netflix, that it was like being drained. Like everyone was trying to watch like that. Any live broadcast now, which is crazy I've been watching Twitch streams that have millions of viewers and everything's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like It's crazy.
Yeah,
when you
but
think
the
about
Twitch
how
streams
much
are not
they
in HD quality. The HD, they're not. They
What?
don't have.
They're 4K HD 60p. They are 60
No
frames per
way.
second.
You're gonna.
They
I don't believe a
are
Twitch stream
they
is in
are
the same quality.
They are broadcast in that quality. Whether you receive it in that quality has to do with your internet. But that's how it should be. So what? You're getting the best that you can get. The whole point
I
is,
personally,
I don't know
watched
how
the Oscars live and didn't receive. I didn't get any kind of.
You're on a ship, and those ships, the internet is different than if I'm sharing internet with a neighborhood of people.
Yes, I'm only sharing internet with 6,000 people that are in my immediate vicinity.
What I'm getting is that it's set up for that, and it's throttled for that, and the usages of those things. There's a whole bandwidth thing about that you can like specify in these depending on how it's being distributed locally.
All right. We're getting off topic.
Whatever.
Right.
We're getting off topic. The whole point is that they're trying to do all of this streaming stuff. Like I would. Yet during the Oscars, they're yelling at us to go see these things in the theaters, right? They're like they were like making pitches. I forgot who it was that in their speech I saw it the day after that. They're like, please go to support movie theaters, support live, going to in person and watch movies.
Yeah, Honora when he won.
Yes, right.
When he won best director for Honora. Yeah.
Yeah, and the point being is that then make it worth our while. Like tell us. You can tell us whatever you want, but like you gotta include more in the sales pitch than just begging. Like there has to be movies that are worth watching in the theaters.
No, I disagree, man. They gave us Conclave was. I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known that Conclave. Again, I'm at a disadvantage because of sheer location and opportunity. That's where I'm at a disadvantage. I saw Wicked in theaters. I went to the movie theater more than you did, and I am at a massive disadvantage as far as location and availability. I saw Gladiator 2. I saw Wicked. I saw what? There was a bunch of movies that I saw. I wish I would have known about Conclave. I didn't know about Conclave until it got nominated. I wish I would have known about Conclave because I would have made an effort to go see Conclave in theaters. I saw Moana 2 in theaters, which was a great movie in theaters. And I saw that one without my kids, by the way. So it wasn't even like my kids saw that movie before I did. I disagree. I think I wish I would have just known about Conclave. I didn't even know about that movie. So if you're saying make it a better effort to tell me about these movies, make it a better effort to market the movies, fine. But if you would have told me, hey, there's a movie that has John Lithgow and Ray Fiennes, I'm like, yeah, I'll go watch that movie. That sounds great.
Well, to be fair, it's easier for me to go to the movies than you, of course, geographically, but also like the convenient, like the world is not set up. Like they're not like they've made so many efforts to keep you at home. I have a 65-inch TV right here. It is giant. Compared to like what used to be the TVs that you would have to watch stuff at home on CRT, 4K, 60p, 60 frames per second. It's the best TV I've ever owned and it's great, right? Like it's amazing TV with the headphones that you don't understand why I would watch it, but surround sound. I get full experience. I can watch it with any kind of sound experience I want, and my home theater experience, I will argue, is better than some actual theaters, right? Because some, like you're in public and all that stuff. There's times when it's good and times when it's bad. I went to go see Captain America: Brave New World in theaters, right? Because that is what I watch in the theaters. I want to see action and explosions, and the movie as a whole was kind of mid, but the whole like flying act. I'm a child of the Top Gun generation. I love a good aerial dogfight. Watching that in my face on IMAX.
I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen. You're not even. Yeah, and that's the thing
I've been on cruise ships.
And if you were, I mean, what else is new? You exist in a different way. So when you are home and are able, or in a place where you can watch a movie theater, it's a different thing for you. It becomes this thing of like, oh, that I don't get the chance to do this. I can go to movies every week if I want. Tuesday discount, AMC, whatever. But there's nothing worth watching. Like I even told my wife, I told Chiquita, I was like, hey, I want to start going to the movies more, and we'll just pick stuff on Tuesdays. We looked, and it was like,
did you see Heretic in theaters?
No,
You see, but that was worth it. But you just
it
didn't
would
go.
have been. It would have been. But that's the thing is that it's a gamble. It's you're paying money is a gamble.
I don't know,
You know-
man. To me, I guess I mean everybody. I'm not gonna judge people's pocketbooks. Everybody has their own pocketbooks, but to me, that's a gamble that I'm willing to take. I'd rather go watch a mediocre movie in a movie theater. That's just I just love that experience. So I get it. I didn't go see. I was home for a week, and I was actually home the week that Brave New World came out, and then my kids got sick, and I couldn't go, and I was like I just couldn't. And it's not. It was I was gonna take them to the theater, and then they got sick, and then I thought, oh, maybe you just go by yourself, and then I thought no, because if they're sick, there's a chance that I have it, and I don't want to, I don't want to, like I had that frame of presence
as a healthcare
so
professional.
I was like, all right,
I thank you.
So
for
I was just
your
like, I'll watch
contribution.
it whenever I can or whatever. But I knew that was my week. I was like, I knew that was my chance. I was like, this is my chance to go watch it in theaters, and I knew because my kids got sick, but I'm not, it is what it is. Like such is life. But I just like going to the movies. I'd rather just go see a mediocre movie at a movie theater. I'd rather go see that. I'd rather take my chances. But again, if I'm only paying for myself, that's the way.
I'm with you. I want to do that more. I want to do that more. And even then, when we went, there was like it was either see something we had already seen or something that didn't really I forget exactly what the movies. I don't even know what movies are out right now. But like, as somebody who used to be a movie every weekend,
this is low season. This is low season for theaters.
Yeah, and that's like this is low season for everything, man. It's February. It's February into March. It's like nothing going on right now. There's like the beginnings of basketball, the beginnings of baseball. Like nobody, like. There's nothing really going on right now. Movies are waiting for the summer blockbusters to hit. Everything's kind of like on hold, It feels like a weird time to be talking about anything. There's nothing going on. But they went to the Panthers game? Lucky shits. My dad and
my
Yolanda,
kids,
they
kids
love
the
hockey now. They're really into the Panthers. So they're the only Miami team doing anything worth a shit.
Yeah, my son is on a roller hockey team. My son is in a roller hockey team, so he is in love with the sport. I'm getting into the sport just because of my son. Like to be
Good.
like, okay,
That's
what's
awesome.
happening in this? And they went to a hockey game. Yeah.
Oh, so we were talking about this video that I saw that it was this guy. There's some man on the street interview. What's your best sports hot takes? And one of them was that the MLB is old and antiquated and needs to be revamped. If they gave hockey the money that they gave the MLB and the TV time, it would be a much bigger and more exciting sport than baseball. And I'm like, yes, I fully agree.
So here's the thing. There's nuances to that statement. If you gave hockey more money, would it be better? Sure. Okay, I could agree to that.
I guess more.
I could agree to that.
Presence on media,
Yeah. So here's the problem that I have with that statement is that baseball is old and antiquated. That guy's talking from a time of years past, because in the last couple of years they've added a pitch clock, which has sped up the game. They have now, this season will be the first season that they are going to be able to argue balls and strikes with computers. So they're now now they have a thing where they're like, hey, that was a strike. Nope, it wasn't. And like, oh, word? Okay. And they have a challenge where now they have a challenge. It's basically, I don't want to say a challenge flag, but they have a challenge where they could challenge balls and strikes, which is a big deal because balls and strikes have never been, even in the era of instant replay, which started like 5 years ago. Instant replay was just for like home runs and like what was foul and what was in and what was out of the park or whatever. And now they have, so that phrase of baseball is old and antiquated is kind of an outdated statement as well. That's actually an antiquated thought process.
Good breaking ball, just misses. Brett Sullivan going to challenge.
Challenging the ball call.
Brett has been expert at the ABS system.
The call is surprisingly correct. 3.
Which I guess does feel like a vindication. Yeah, because they call the majority of balls and strikes correctly, and then whenever they get it wrong,
the vast majority.
The vast majority are correct, unfortunately.
Which, dude, the plate is like this, like wide.
Yeah,
If you're looking at the plate, like if you're a human being and you're watching something go at 90 miles an hour, The fact that
Yeah.
you could, you know what I mean, with the accuracy. But again, that statement of baseball is old and antiquated. There's like, okay, that's you're talking you're talking from like 10 years ago. 10 years ago before they had replay, 10 years ago before they had the pitch clock, 10 years ago before that. So all of these things are now, so baseball is listening, baseball is hearing the people of baseball. And again, I'm a fan of baseball. I'm not a diehard. I'm not really, but I'm a fan of baseball. So whenever I hear anybody trying to pin one sport against the other, I'm like, that's kind of shit. Just say, hey man, why don't you invest more money in hockey? Because hockey's fucking awesome. I'm okay with that. I love that statement. That's a great statement.
Yeah. He had other moments. I'm trying to figure out.
I just don't. I don't like when when like, oh, you know, they try to do that hockey versus basketball. Like, oh, the NBA All-Star game sucked, and I'm agreeing with you. NBA All-Star game did suck, but they're trying to say like, look what hockey did. It's like, well, hockey did that whole thing where they invented a tournament of 4 nations, best on best tournament, where now you got geopolitical fucking emotions involved. Now you're bringing in country over team type of shit.
Well, sports is inherently political when you think about like how much money goes into these teams. Like,
I'm just talking about geopolitical. I'm talking about now. You're talking about now. So like, so hockey players will be like, hockey plays hard because we play for our country. You're like, yeah. Well, once you include the country, then of course they're gonna play harder than somebody who's just playing an all-star. Like it. So I don't like when you do sport against sport. Just tell me how great your sport is. Tell me your sport without talking shit about other sports. That's all I give a fuck about. That's how I feel about everything, really. Even if you're like your political candidate, tell me why your political candidate is great without having to talk shit about.
Although there's plenty of opportunity to say things are bad, but I appreciate the attempt at positivity. So in that vein, I would like to say that I think soccer and hockey, the fact that the scores are low means, and even in football, right? Like, there may be 7 points to a touchdown, but one touchdown is a touchdown. Like one scoring drive matters, I think, so much that low scoring games to me, like where the scores are low, is so much more exciting than something where you score a million times, right? Like if any pitch in a baseball game could be a home run, right? But like I guess I am going to compare it to something, because I do think like basketball. I think basketball gets it to. I don't like basketball. I like the last 5 minutes of basketball. That's what I like. My issue with
the NBA is the same issue that I have with baseball. The seasons are just too long. That's it. That's all I have. That's all I have to say. If you cut the seasons down by 20 games, so if you're looking at 60 NBA games for the regular season as opposed to 84, if you're looking at 90 Major League Baseball games as opposed to 120, are you fucking kidding me? 120, God, Jesus Christ. That's all my issue. That's my whole issue with this. I don't want to compare one sport to the other. I just said, give me a shorter season, and in part, if you want to do the comparison thing, which is why people love the football so much, because there's 16 games, bro.
Yes,
and these games fucking matter, because each game matters more because there's so much less of them, and that's all I care.
I think people who shit on hockey and soccer and other like rugby or any of these games, that because they're like, oh, nothing ever happens. I'm like, you're not watching the game like with the right, you're not watching the game right. You know, I'm not trying to tell you that you're not having fun, right? But if you understand the context of like each score matters so much that the other teams are fucking like everything is a fight to prevent a score, that like to me, basketball, when the score's like 120 to 118, I'm like, just start the game now. You know, like just play the game for 5 minutes. You know, who cares? That's too many points. And I get it. It's because it shows the like flow of scoring, and you can change. It's the same concept. But at a certain point, it's like, you know, it's kind of at, you know, it becomes
I don't know, man. I don't
boring.
like. I don't
it's
like
so much scoring. It's boring.
I'm not the fan of I mean, there's got to be some kind of balance maybe, but I'm not the fan of low scoring sports. Baseball I'm a fan of because I became a fan of because there could be big, like there are times where you'll get a game where it's like 7-5, which is a lot of scoring for baseball, right? That's for baseball at least. But you're not seeing that score in soccer ever. You're never going to see 7-5 in a soccer game. You're just not seeing that.
But how many shots on goal are you seeing? Like how many? How
That's
many?
my pro-
How many
that's the
passes are
problem,
you seeing?
and that's the problem. How many shots on goal? How many am I seeing? You don't get a lot of shots on goals in soccer. You don't. You just don't. And when you compare that to hockey, right? Again, I hate the comparison.
Hockey
game, but when
for
you compare
sure.
that to
Hockey for sure.
You get
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
shots
Hockey
on
is
goal.
the one. Hockey's
I
good.
like hockey, man. Hey,
I like it.
I like hockey, but I don't think that low. I don't like it because it's low scoring. I don't. It's not. That's not the reason I like hockey. I like hockey because it's fast and violent.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's it. It's fast and violent. What is football? Fast and violent. What is basketball? Fast. Maybe not violent, but it's fast. Like you know what I mean? Anything to me, soccer is not fast. It's not a fast game. It's not. Those guys run faster than me. Yes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the game itself is not fast. It's just such a huge field. So even if you're fast, to run across that field is a long time. And to get the ball across that field because of the defenders, it's just I don't know, man. It doesn't move fast enough for me. Even football, unless I'm watching the red zone, football doesn't move fast enough for me anymore. Like I gotta constantly be watching action. I just can't. It's just hard for me now.
I was watching, I do not advocate for this. I did not plan this. I was watching a bootleg stream of the NFL that was the British stream from Sky Sports.
Sure.
When I tell you that it was the timeouts for TV commercials was so frequent that it was driving me crazy. I was every time they cut back to the British people talking, I'm like, oh, is this a commercial break? How many of these fucking commercial breaks? It was shocking. It was because the commercials pop up and they do all the thing and whatever, you get distracted. You're used to it. When I was watching the British stream that does not show the commercials, they'll cut back to like the booth of some British dude talking to some NFL players about like what's going on in the game. At a certain point, they're like, what are we talking about? Like, how do you fill that time?
So
it was so boring.
If you subscribe to the NBA app, the NBA where you could watch the season pass and you could watch the games. If you subscribe to that and you're watching the games on the NBA app, there's no commercials. When they take a timeout, you at home are watching what the stadium is watching. So you're watching the people do the halftime show. You're watching
the dancers
whatever.
Come out,
the dancers come out. You're watching that.
Yeah.
And it is such a trip to watch that. You go,
yeah.
Oh, this is like what they fucking see at the stadium. This is cool. This is like whatever. It's such a trip. And it's not the announcers. It's just like,
yeah,
it's just people. Everything you see at the game. So you see the T-shirt, you see the cup. Like, oh, where's the shell game? Where's the ball? Like you see all those cheesies, and you're just like, oh, all right.
In the baseball games when they race the mascots,
and
all, I love all that crap.
Are racing.
Yeah,
it's great.
There's the Frozone guy, or what's his name? He's like the Freeze or whatever. That he's like a sprinter, and he's like they get someone from the crowd to beat and they race, and it's fun. I love all that shit. Yeah, I'd rather watch that.
I'd rather watch that than people just
I'd rather
talking.
watch that.
Just trying to fill time.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I want virtual reality for is that stadium.
Porn.
Like we're also two things can be true, Nery.
First things first. First things first is porn.
First things first, porn. Yeah, of course, obviously. Number one, always there. Permanent number one. Number two is that immersive NBA experience or like stadium experience. I don't know. You've seen some of these bars have it. There's like a bar.
Yes. There's two of them.
Feels,
one of them in Vegas and one of them in LA. Yeah, it's great.
And I would want it. If I gave a shit about the teams that they were showing, I would go. But it's in the virtual reality one. There's this thing that I saw demoed that you can watch. Like you're watching the game. And then you can put it on like a big giant thing in front of you. And in front of you also is like a little mock-up of the court. And so you can see everything going on the court. And as you're watching the game on like a big, like immersive experience, that's what I would want 3D for. That's what I think it should be the big push for movie distributors, for sporting events, for all that stuff. Because look, man, I cannot afford to go to a football game. I literally wanted to go to the LA Rams versus the Miami Dolphins. And it was like $500 for me and my wife, plus parking, plus everything. It is egregious. I cannot, there's no way I could warrant spending that much money to go to a game.
Sure.
But if I buy a immersive virtual reality, I'll invest in a virtual reality experience. And you can guarantee
I went to the Niners game. I went to the Niners game and I spent $300 on one ticket, bro. One ticket. Now, granted, Granted, that one ticket did include all you can eat food.
Yes.
So there was that.
Remember when we fought?
Yeah, I know. But I will say this: I did not know that ticket included that when I bought the ticket. I'll be completely honest.
You were willing to pay $300 just to go see.
So this is the reason why, because there was only one ticket, but it was only one ticket, so I didn't have to spend for 2 tickets. Right? Yeah. The way I sold it to myself is, Nery, this team is going to the Super Bowl this year. This is the last game of the season. You're never gonna get. And literally the next day after that, I was on a cruise ship making money. The next day. Yeah. So the company flew me from San Francisco from Santa Clara, from San Jose to LA to meet a ship in LA. And I was like, so I told myself, treat yourself. This is like a treat yourself moment. It's a once in a lifetime. This isn't even a once in a year thing. This is a once in maybe a couple of years. And I was okay with that. I will say this though, it was as great as the experience was. Again, all the food you could eat. Yeah. I will say I did miss not having somebody there to share the experience with. Like my
wife tried to watch Wicked without me, and then she was like, I don't like the movie. And then when we were sitting together, it was all about like, how we were, because you have someone there to banter off with.
Banter? Like, again, you guys have headphones. What are you talking about?
Not always. And also, you can go like this, right? Like, bloop, hello.
That's so annoying to me. That's so annoying that somebody's talking and you go, what? And then you got to repeat what you said, it's such a weird thing. I just think it's weird for husband and wife to be watching TV, sitting next to each other with headphones on individually. I think that's an awkward.
Because we want you're both the best sharing audio one experience.
It's just a weird thing, man. I get it. You have hearing issues.
I do have hearing issues.
It's just a weird thing for me.
Man,
get it?
Hey, yeah, that's right. Hey, are you insulting the infirm? Are you insulting the disabled? Like, what a dick.
I mean,
look at this guy. Cancel this motherfucker.
But your wife doesn't have hearing issues, so that's just weird.
No, the truth is, we do it because it started when it was in the summer here and the AC was on and the AC was like blasting. And at a certain point, we were like fighting the AC and we were like, we could just put our headphones in, right? And then you get like the fully immersive sound. I like it, man.
I'm not a fan of having headphones on for long periods of time. Like, this bothers me. We've been on for an hour and 16 minutes, and this is like, this is. Sure. But again, I do this once a week, and it's.
But I watch it with with my AirPods. And I'm just like getting my the sound directly into my ears, so I don't have to deal with the background noise if something happens or whatever. Like, we're good.
You know what? Next time I go home, I'll try it. I'll try listening to something, but it's
with the spatial
weird.
audio, with the do the full thing, because I know you have Apple TV. No, you have you use your PS5.
I have Apple TV, of course.
You have Apple TV.
I do have my PS5, but I also have Apple TV.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. It's a legit great experience. If you have AirPods Pro 2, you can do noise canceling, so that if you I love my headphones. I just got them Jabra, but they're really good for noise canceling and sports, and so I use it for the gym. I just got them. I love these headphones. Jesus Christ. Yeah. There's not a plug on them, but Jesus, they're really good. And if they were, I don't know how they work with the AirPlay, like the Apple sharing, so that you can do it more. But because my wife and I both have AirPods, we can share at the same time. But sometimes you can only connect one Bluetooth thing at a time. I don't know how it works, but I know that Apple has the shared audio feature for their shit. So you know how they are, you know how they be. But little asshole design.
They not like us. They not like
us. Speaking of assholes. Are we gonna do Am I the Asshole?
Sure.
I have a couple to choose from.
Oh, by the way, Conan O'Brien absolutely killed it at the Oscars. Did a great job.
What a good he is one of those people that the NBC they fucked themselves so hard. Jay Leno, I'll never be like okay with Jay Leno, because I'm always gonna be like you kind of fucked things up with that whole Tonight Show thing, handing over the reins.
That wasn't his thing. I'm okay. I know that I get and understand why people hate on Jay Leno. I don't hate on Jay Leno because that wasn't his call. That was a corporate call. And then he just said, he just took it's kind of like you taking the gig off a comedian who got fired, and then you look like the asshole because you're the easy linchpin. You're like, oh yeah, you're the asshole that took over. You're the asshole that took over the other comedian that I like. It's like, yeah, but it's a gig. I was offered a gig. What the fuck you want me to turn down a gig? Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah. But I get it. I totally get why people hate Jay Leno. I don't hate Jay Leno, but I get it. As a comedian, hey, I'll take the gig.
Right,
I would have taken the gig off of fucking Conan. If they're gonna fire Conan and they come up to me, what are you gonna say no for artistic integrity? Get out of here with that shit. I'm fucking taking the gig.
It's like, hey, we're gonna give you millions of dollars. They'd be like, yes. Do you want to know what it's for? I guess. Yeah.
I mean,
sure. I
probably
guess.
should prepare. I guess. I don't know.
For me,
but yeah, Conan did a great job. He did a great job hosting. I would have liked a little bit more. It's Conan's thing. I get it. But there was a lot of times where they were just, you didn't see the broadcast, but there was a lot of times where they were just waxing poetic about actors, right?
Yeah,
like, so they came out and they just like, you're like great for you're a dream and you're an amazing artist and God bless you. And then move on to the next guy, and then they're like, and then it's just like, oh man, you have mastered your craft, and and but there was no joke. There was never a fucking joke. I'm like, you're setting it up for a good joke. There's no fucking joke here. What's happening? It's just it felt a little bit too much like up your own ass type of deal. Like at least make a joke about shit. Come on, man.
Yeah, I feel like so there's two things going on during this Oscars, right? It's a televised show that has to be entertaining, and it's also like an entire organization justifying their existence by rank. Like there's
an entire
whole
industry.
But just the Oscars themselves, because the SAG. Okay, there was a whole bunch of stuff that came out that the Oscars voters, the people on the panel that actually get to vote for the Oscars, don't watch the movies. They are like, I'm just gonna. Ray Fiennes has had it before, this, that, and the other, and we're gonna give it to this other guy, and blah blah blah. And like when they in private, they've addressed these things where people talk about like, I couldn't finish it, and blah blah blah. It's like your one job is to watch these movies and say whether or not you're the few people that can actually determine who gets an Oscar, which will establish someone's career for the rest of their lives, or like justify someone's career and make them money and change the industry. Like, you're so important, and they're not watching the movies. And I take that seriously because I, as a member of SAG, can vote for the SAG awards, and it's all about acting and actors. That's the legit thing. The Oscars is a fucking show. At least I can vote for. That's why I don't vote if I haven't watched everything in a category. Like, because I can't tell you what's good. I respect my job. I respect my place as a voting member.
You can still say, I don't know, man. I could vote for like if I only saw 5 out of the 10 movies, I could tell you which I think is the best actor of the 5 movies I watched. That doesn't mean you're not voting against other people. You're voting for one person.
But you're kind of by not giving them the opportunity to be in the running. By not watching their movie, you're kind of. I mean, by
that
you're voting against them.
By that mentality, then Wicked should have won everything because everybody saw Wicked because it made $10 billion in the movie theater. So everybody saw it.
I'm talking about the people who can vote.
But I'm talking about the people who can
their
vote.
Their job
obviously,
is to watch the things.
I understand, but with that, it's like a correlation thing. If Wicked made $10 billion in a movie theater, I'm exaggerating the numbers just a bit, but if everybody if it made billions upon billions of dollars in a movie theater, it stands to reason that the few people who can vote were one of those billions of people, right? It stands to reason that the people who can vote for the people who could. All right, so if Wicked made $2 billion in a movie theater, right? It made $2 billion, right? Or 1.5, something, whatever. It made $1.5 billion. That equates to, just to give a number, 500 million people, right? 500 million people watched this movie. It stands to reason that the 150 people that vote for the Oscars were part of that 500 million people.
Potentially, yes.
It stands to reason that there's a good chance that those 150 people that could vote for the Oscars, they were part of the 500 million people that want to go to the fucking.
Wait, but that's not the point I'm making. I'm talking about my whole have to watch all the other ones.
Right, but my whole point is, if they're just voting based upon the movies that they've seen, wouldn't that mean that Wicked has a better chance of winning an Oscar, and it won 0?
No. You're misunderstanding what the fundamental basis of. If you do not watch all of the things that are nominated in the category that you are supposed to vote the best of, you're not doing your vote doesn't count. Like it doesn't. It's not an accurate vote. It's a lie. Because you don't know which one's best or not. You just know that you saw, oh, I'm only going to watch this movie. But your job as a voter is to learn and watch all of the stuff.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you.
It has nothing to do with box office. It has nothing to do with box office.
But I'm just saying sheer numbers of people that I'm okay with people. I'm okay with, I would rather, yes, in a perfect world, you watch every movie and then you vote upon it. I'm okay with people if you voting for something that you've seen. What I'm not okay with is, well, I didn't see Conclave, but I'm not going to vote for Ray Fiennes because he's won one before, or didn't, whatever. That's
what they're saying they did, though.
But that's what I'm saying. That there's a difference, but there's a difference between those two things. There's a difference between I'm not voting for a movie or actor because of XYZ, even though I didn't see it, and there's a difference between that and saying I'm voting for Ray Fiennes because I saw Ray Fiennes the Conclave is the only movie I saw. That's not the same thing.
So the NFL Combine is happening right now, but let's say there's like the top 5 recruits, running backs, and they're gonna all have to run the 40, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch or know that guy's 40 time because he's not good enough, but I'll watch this guy's 40 time. This guy's 40 is the best that I saw. It's like, yeah, but this
again,
other guy ran faster.
You're saying two different things. I'm okay. If you are voting for somebody that you saw, I'm okay with because you saw it. If you're not voting for somebody, even though you didn't see it for whatever the reason, no matter what the reason,
but that's what I'm saying. We're saying this. We're agreeing. What I'm saying is
there's two different things, though.
What I'm saying is so you're saying 5 movies are nominated for Best Director, right?
Right. And if I see 4 of them, I could. If I see 4 of them and I vote for one of the 4 that I saw, that to me, it makes sense.
No, but you're already wrong. Your job is to watch all 5.
Again, in a perfect world, yes, you watch all 5.
No. It's not a perfect world. No. Your job is to watch all 5.
Yes.
And they're choosing not
but they're not choosing not to because they don't want to see it. They're choosing not to because whatever the fuck. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
They're literally saying that it's not important to watch. They're literally making decisions not based on the movie. They're making decisions based on whatever their feeling is. And what I'm saying is that this makes the whole show invalid. Like, it's not fair to say, like, if Honora, like, how many of those people thought Honora was the best movie, not because it was the best put together story. It was because this guy did all of these things at the same time. So he deserves more credit than somebody who was just the director rather than editor, writer, and all these other things. Like, it all, and then how many, like, if Conclave was nominated Best Actor, like, Emilia Perez is on there for a lot of wrong reasons. Like, there's a lot of, like the fact that Emilia Perez won for Best Song, how many of now what it does is, so when all these stories come out about people not watching things and voting for things that they feel like they should vote for, how many of these wins, these Oscar wins, are essentially political or like up for debate, like up for dispute,
anytime you have arts, anytime you're voting on arts,
it's all subjective. Yes,
it's all subjective, and it's all up for debate. All of it is up for debate. No matter how you do it, you could watch all 10 movies. I could watch all 10 movies, and you and I have different votes because it doesn't matter. Even if you and I watched all 10 movies, even if all Oscar voters watched every single minute of every single movie,
right. It's still it would be valid.
It's not valid because it's still an art form. You're still voting in an art form.
Yes, but at least the vote would then be including all of the things that you can choose from.
But it's still an art form, and for you to say,
of course, I'm not talking about that.
And if you want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, it's like it's ridiculous that we have actors categories.
I think Mom Koji Yolanda is on my side here. If you don't watch all 5, you shouldn't vote. You cannot accurately say something is better than something else without having watched both things or watched all of the options.
Okay.
You could say something's good. You could say I enjoyed this, but you can't say I enjoyed this more than the thing I did. That's like hold on. That's the thing that you used to say when people would come out with reviews where I watched this so you don't have to. No. Let me make my own opinion for it. The thing is that now you're on the reverse side. It's like, I didn't watch it because I don't have to, because I'm going to vote for this anyway. Then it's like, hey, what? Then that means nothing.
What I would say is that it goes towards the whole problem with it is that it says the best picture. What it should say is my favorite picture.
Well, no, these people
That's
are
the problem.
classified as experts. These people are part of the one. They are
And
the ones that they're pros.
That's the whole problem with it. Is that it's an art form. It goes down to what we talked about Fan Force.
No, it's their job.
Their job is
hold on.
Their job
they're
is
an
critiquing
expert
art
witness.
form. Their job is
but they're the
art form.
expert. That's like having an expert witness in a courtroom. That's your one job, is to be the guy that they talk to, and you're like, I didn't really look at the evidence. I didn't really think it was important to
I think what
dust
you're
for
equating it
fingerprints.
to. I think what you're equating it to. Again, this is very difficult because you're equating it to science. You're
No,
equating it to.
I'm telling you that the job description. If your job is to be like, you can't. So like, if you have not experienced all 5 things, you are unable to make a fully formed, like, having experienced all 5 things is the definition of an informed opinion. Otherwise, you're making an uninformed opinion because you're missing a piece of the puzzle to make the decision. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing.
It's not about subjectivity. It's about you did not do your job, so it calls into question the rest of what the
I'm not
results
disagreeing
are.
with you. All I'm saying is, if you watch 4 and you vote for one of the 4 that you did watch, I'm okay with that. If you didn't watch any and you're voting for something, that to me bothers me.
I disagree. I mean, that's the part that I disagree with you. If you should not vote for something that is out of 5 when you've only watched 4.
Right. I think as long as you've watched 4 and you vote for the one that you did watch. Now, if you watch 1 and you vote for somebody else because, I like this guy better, then that's the one where I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
That's Yolanda feels the way is expressing how I feel right now. Where I don't know
what that picture is. What is that picture?
It's somebody going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Legitimately feel the same way. I'm like, oh my God. But what I was gonna say is, man, I got distracted with this whole conversation that I didn't even care about. The Oscar thing, the SAG thing, I like because it's actors voting for actors, and I think that's a very cool. That's like, hey man, we're in the, like, you know what I mean? It's like directors should be voting for directors. And
well, they have all of the.
I get to have their own categories, but in the Oscars,
no, they have their own, like the DGA.
Oh yeah, they have the CGA. Yeah. But in the Oscars, if you've never directed a film, you should not be able to talk about directing. That's just very difficult for me to wrap my mind around. It's just like, again, but I'm going with it because this is the show and this is the industry and this is what it is, and that's fine, and we're just whatever. But if you want to get down to like what would be the perfect voting system for the arts, is if you like, how can you judge me as a stand-up comedian if you've never been on stage?
How can I judge you as a stand-up comedian if I never see you perform?
Right. Okay. But
that's
you could, but if you did say, but if you said, you know who I did see Bill Burr and I like him, I can't judge you on that. I can't get mad at you.
No, but that's not.
Like,
that's again, it's not about I liked it. It's about this is better than that.
But I don't see it as this is better than that. That's the whole. That's why I'm not saying I don't. That's why I don't see it. Fair.
Agree to disagree, but
yeah.
The agree to disagree. I just think that if your job is to classify things, your job is to watch all the things you need to classify.
Is that their job? Do they get paid for this? They get paid for this?
They get asked to do it. They're
job,
part of the board.
Right, they're part of the board. Do they get paid for this? Job entails getting paid for it. And now, if I'm a lawyer and I'm an entertainment lawyer and I am part of the board, I also have shit to do. Right?
It's
like, again, this is the problem that I have with NFL referees. NFL referees having real jobs that are not football related. I think it's wrong. You should not be doing. You should be fucking a full paid NFL referee and owning an NFL referee.
I believe that as well. I think that's
so. If you are voting for something, if you are officiating something, that should be your job. If that is your job, cool. If you are being asked because it is an honor, but it's like, but wait a minute, but I also run a company doing XYZ. Like, I got shit to do, man. You expect me to fucking watch 140 fucking movies? How many movies are nominated? Yeah. Like, that's a lot.
Then you should probably abstain from voting. You should probably not be in the.
I think they should just make them. I just think you should just hire them. Like, okay, for you, you're not going to do anything else but do this. This is your job.
to judge.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could find people who fucking who'll be happy to take the job of just watching movies. And just like in the NFL, when quarterbacks watch film on their iPad, they get a report of how many minutes of film they watched. You could tell how many minutes of a movie you watched, right? So if you make that somebody's job, if you go like, hey, this is the thing, this is the system, this is the new system that we're doing, you have to watch all these movies. When you watch all these movies, you get paid. Cool. I will vote for this shit because this is my fucking job.
The one step further is also like, I think that there should be that same exact thing, and then instead of it that you get paid, that your vote counts.
Sure, but if I get paid, I'm watching all the fucking movies. If the only way I get paid is by me watching the movies, then I'm watching the movies.
Hey man, we all have our motivation. That's because we're poor. We're not in Hollywood. We're not billionaires like these fucking people. If you take me, I would give me $5
you
and
don't
we
have
stop
to
this
pick
conversation
these
right now.
You don't have to pick these millionaires to fucking
do.
vote on the
There
movies.
are rules. That's the whole point, is that it's an established system that is already in place. That's what I'm saying, man.
You don't have to watch. You don't have to pay these. You don't have to get these fucking artsy fartsy fucks. Yeah, man. Nominate Avengers, goddammit.
Yeah, nominate the Avengers. Nominate
Venom 3. What the fuck,
Venom
man?
3. Sure.
Well,
it made money.
Madam Web didn't deserve your attention, motherfucker. Like, what's going on?
Of course. Am I the asshole for being loud when my roommate has sex? That's right.
Oh, wait. So, just from the title, is this the roommate having sex that's loud, or is this the other roommate that's not having sex?
When my roommate has sex. So it's the roommate is having sex. I currently live in a student house with 3 other people. Yes, I get it, Nery. Thank you.
No,
yeah. I currently live in a student house with 3 other people. The downstairs room is connected to the kitchen/dining area. The roommate who sleeps in this room asked for this specifically. Recently, he's been bringing his girlfriend around our house every single day. They've been dating a few years, but we've only just met her. They're constantly in the kitchen and in his bedroom with the door open, which makes it a bit awkward to be in there at times. They have sex so loud, caps, so loud. Going downstairs has become a nightmare because we constantly have to listen to them two going at it. They usually have sex in the middle of the day as well, the exact times people are going into the kitchen to make lunch and dinner. I've brought this up to him a few times, and he said that we never gave him any rules when he asked if we could bring her around. But obviously we did not expect to be hearing them having sex constantly. I asked him to play music and or put the television on in the background while he was having sex, and he refused and told us that he likes hearing his girlfriend while they are having sex, so he won't be doing that. To combat this, every time we go into the kitchen and we can hear them having sex, we started playing music ourselves or putting on a TV show on loud to drown them out, which he said he's not very happy about, and it ruins the mood for him. I don't care about them having sex. I just don't want to hear the bed banging, the moaning, and the conversation that happens. It's annoying and makes it uncomfortable to be in my own house. Am I the asshole?
I mean, I think everybody's the asshole here. Why don't you just make it real awkward and get turned on by them having sex? Like, be like, hey, dude, tell her to do that thing again. I'm jerking off to your girl.
I mean, because here's the thing: how thin are these floors? It's the floor above or whatever. How thin is this building construction?
Well, they're only talking about the kitchen, right? Like the shared space.
Yeah.
He can't hear it from the second bedroom.
The downstairs room is connected to the kitchen dining area.
Yeah.
The roommate who sleeps in this room. Oh, so it's next door to the kitchen dining area.
Yeah. It's next door to the kitchen dining room. So they can't hear it from the top floor. They can only hear it in the kitchen because it's next to it. That's what I'm gathering from this.
Right, which is like
because people need to go into the kitchen to make lunch, to make dinner. Like, people need to go into the kitchen. It's a high traffic area.
I think that if you don't want them if you don't want to have your personal space dictated what you can and can't do in there, what noises you can and can't make, you also then can't dictate what they can and can't do in the kitchen, because it's the same.
Facts.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, right. Like, hey, don't tell me what to do in my room.
Yeah.
This is a public shared space that we can do whatever the fuck we want in here. Also,
Correct.
yeah. And also, I love the fact that it's like, hey, you didn't say we couldn't fuck loud in here. You know, like, it's like nobody gave me the rules. It's like, what we're telling you now. We're having a discussion.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like,
no,
and
you should have said.
and you didn't say that a felon can't be president. It's like, well, we just assumed that would be.
You
like,
didn't say a
normal.
dog can't play basketball. You did. You know, it's not in the rules.
And they checked the rule book. There was that scene. And there's that scene. And like, oh, we don't have.
Oh wow! I don't say it. We can't see it. I don't know. I do also think that the part that it's like.
Here's the thing though. For the future, for the next roommate, you know they're gonna have to have that conversation. The next roommate. Oh, by the way, you can't fuck really loud. It's like what?
What?
What? It's like, yeah, you can't. Like, yeah, we've had instances where you can't. This is a weird. This is I just met you and you're talking. You're telling me about having the way I can have sex. This is weird. It's like, yeah, but we have to do this now. This has to
I
be
do
done.
love the description of okay. I don't care about them having sex. I just don't want to hear the bed banging, the moaning, and the conversation. See, that's the missed opportunity there. Join in the conversation. It sounds like she likes that, bro. Yes, she does like. Do you like it? Do you like that? Yeah, she does. It sounds great. Sounds good job. You know, like
Good job, buddy. Knock him down. You keep doing it.
I'd like get it every time she moans really loud. I'd get the air horn noise and like, bah, 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 bah. You know,
Yeah.
You're doing great,
I'm telling
buddy.
you that's kind of where I was going with my joke at first when I was like, just start pretending that turns you on and being like, yeah.
10, 9,
Oh,
8.
good. Yeah. Is it good for you? It's good for me out here too.
It's good
bro.
for
This
all
is
of us out
awesome.
here too. Yeah, we're
This is
enjoying it.
awesome.
I'm almost done. Let me know when you're gonna so I can match.
Yeah,
Let me know.
we could arrive together, man.
We can arrive at the same time if you just count me down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be descriptive. Be more descriptive. Before when you were talking, you would be like really descriptive with your story, man.
Yeah.
Just keep doing that.
What's your like? If I would be constantly calling the girlfriends, like you tell Sarah what she wants, like, and just the wrong name entirely. Like, who's Sarah? I want to start. That's what I would do. I would be like, do the thing you did with the other girl you brought. That was louder. That was more fun.
That was louder.
Do that other thing with the other girl from yesterday.
This girl sounds nice. Are you doing it anally as well? Because Jessica liked it anally. So yeah, you should do that, man.
Remember when? Okay, there was 2 girls in here that one time, and they were sharing. Yeah, just remember, go clockwise, and that, like just.
You
start
wear a
shouting
condom.
out.
Make sure to wear a condom, bro.
Yeah, those other 2 girls, raw was bad idea, man.
I think the guy is a jerk, but also I don't. Not the writer, not the poster, but I think that the roommate is a jerk, but also not the worst kind of jerk. I don't think.
I think that if you that hey man, you didn't say we cool folk loud. That idea is also that it makes you kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Oh no.
Are you right? You're an asshole.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But also like that. You're hearing people have sex. It's fine. Now, if there's children in the house, there's maybe a different conversation.
No, yeah. This is student housing, so it's probably a lot of like college kids.
Yeah, like, they're doing it at all hours of the day. They're clearly young people. We're not. We're not 40s, bro. We're not 40s. You're not banging out a nooner and then doing it again that night. That doesn't work this way.
Someone in the comments was like, you should pick the soundtrack accordingly. Like if you play yakety sax or like a march or something like that.
Or the
yeah.
The English, the British comedy, or was it?
Yeah, Benny Hill. That's yakety.
Oh, Benny Hill. Yeah, that's what it is.
Benny Hill. Just be like, when someone said you should start timing them, and be like, "Wow, that was fast."
8 minutes, guys. 8 minutes.
Wow, yeah, that's. That sounds like they're exhibitionists and they're forcing their kink on you. Maybe that's an interesting one. People don't. Yeah, like that's also weird. I want to see. Let's see. Oh, start the Seabat song. Were you aware of the TikTok that meme of there's a guy who had a playlist of sex songs and one of them was like his girlfriend hated So, but he's like, he still does it in his head, and his girlfriend would be like, "Stop it! I know you're," because he would like, I guess, use the song to like time his rhythm or some shit like that. And the song is dumb. Like the song sucks, and it became like this really popular like meme of people trying to figure out how he was fucking to the song because it's like off rhythm. They should just play that song really loud.
There is a song that has gone viral that's called "Culo en Caca." You should hear that song. I don't want to play it because I don't want to get.
I know we're gonna. I'm just so nervous about.
But no, don't play it for the audio listener. Don't play it for the. But you yourself, just listen to it because we could get your reaction.
Okay. Oh, the video is already pretty crazy.
Yeah. So good.
But it's like a lot of these songs follow that same kind of.
I think that's what he was doing. I think whoever's making this song like kind of like mockingly do like the same trend that all these songs are doing because the song slaps.
Because you can't hear it, right?
The words are just ridiculous. No, I can't hear it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's
so
just,
for the
literally,
listener,
it's just a
Culo
song
en
about,
Caca.
It's just a like ass and shit.
Yeah.
Yep. That. Play that. If
that's what I'm saying. That's how I'm like, yeah, you should play this song. Culo en Caca. You should play this song.
Anyway, he's not the asshole, but that does get like he's definitely, it's definitely. I didn't think about it as being like a kind of a like an invasion, like a sexual predatory kind of thing of like those people that flashers, exhibitionists that they want people to see. These people want to be heard.
Yeah, Louis C.K.
Yeah, Louis C.K. jerking off in front of people. I don't know. That's a tricky one. That definitely adds another layer than I was. But I do like the idea of shaming, like, because maybe that's what they want. They want to be shamed. Like they want that like someone to make fun of them.
I mean, you had that thing with that on the subway with that guy, and you were like, hey, we don't do that here.
Yeah, I was like, hey man, put that away. I said put that away.
Yeah, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they just want somebody knocking on the door. Hey, put that away.
My theory was that. I think that a lot.
What would have been better though? Would it have been better if you said we don't do that here?
We don't do that here, like Black Panther style. I remember. So I can't. It's hard to explain, but I can't remember for the listener. I mean, we'll do this before we go. I was new to New York. I've worked in the ER a long time, and people do that in the emergency room, like homeless dudes, mentally ill. They'll just start jerking off when the nurse comes in and they want to get caught, And then so on the subway, I didn't realize how kind of this ubiquitous thing, like that people deal with homeless dudes jerking off on the subway. Chef Pell has the bit about the dude jerking off on the bus. It happens, right? These crazy people. When I walked into a subway, you could feel the vibe in the car. Everyone's like afraid of something. And I was like looking around, immediately trying to figure out what was going on. And there was a guy in the corner with his dick out masturbating. And instinctively, because I've dealt with this on a different way, but I've dealt with it before, I was like, hey, man, put that away. Nobody wants to see that. And I felt like I broke his invisibility spell. Like, how people ignore homeless people and they just kind of don't even acknowledge. They're like, just don't touch me. Get me. But like the second I made eye contact with him, like I crumbled his force field. His world was just like, ugh. And he just kind of like got mad. He was like, ugh. And he put his dick away and he went into the next car, presumably to jerk off in there. And then everyone was kind of like looking around like, oh my God, I didn't like, why didn't anybody else do that? And I was like, I think I could do that, 6'4", 280. Yeah. I could do that. But it was like one of those moments where it was just like, I felt like I broke the magic of his invisibility. Like he was just like, I like crumbled his world.
Wouldn't it be funny if he would have been like, you can see me?
Yeah, like it's Ghost, like the movie Ghost, where he's like, get off my train, and he knocks.
Get off my train. He knocks the paper out. Oh man,
he shoots it off with the.
You know what? That's my old school pick, Ghost.
Ghost? Oh, that's all right. Let me pull my old school pick. Oh,
because Demi Moore was just in the Oscars. I wish you would have won it. That would have been great. But
old school pick, Demi Moore. You know what I have? It's a preemptive old school pick, and I want to watch it because somebody made a reference to it. St. Elmo's Fire, which is like that Brat Pack era. I downloaded it or it's on my thing on the streaming thing to watch, and it's like, let me give that one. So shout out to Demi Moore and our old school picks of Ghost and St. Elmo's Fire. And yeah, that's kind of like a good solid, like a double header.
Pairing.
What do you call it?
A pairing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for taking us out. I have a show coming up at the Miami Improv May 7th. It is with me and Luis Diaz. We are doing Nery and Luis Unscripted. We are doing the comedy
You doing that
improv
again?
hybrid. Yep.
How'd
So
that go?
May 7th. May 7th at the Miami Improv. Make sure you check that out. Tickets are available online, miamiimprov.com, or if you're in my social media, go to my social media. The links are in the bio.
Thank you everybody for watching. You can follow us at WUBroPod on all social media, at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz. You can follow my other show that I do with Will Watkins, where we talk Zeros on Heroes, at Zeros on Heroes. We do a show called Collateral Benefit, where we talk about health and fitness and redefining what that means in terms of like shedding old school stereotypes about gym culture and how it improves the rest of your life when you do that. You can please write us a review. That would be nice of you to do. Write us a 5-star review. Say thank you for all the cool stuff we do, and that'll help boost to get more people in the chat and more people watching us live. If you're listening to this in the future, please subscribe so you will know when that is. Thank you everybody for watching. Nery, take us out.
That's how winning is done.